story.
I am so proud of that operation. And I wish that it had been my idea. It was not my idea.
Was it not? No.
I had a mentor at the CIA. He was an old man. He was a retiree. His name was Gus Avracatis. He became famous, and they even made a movie about him, Charlie Wilson's War, in which he's played by Philip Seymour Hoffman. Okay. So I told Gus, I said, listen, this enemy country, the CIA won't allow me to say what country it is, but it's kind of obvious. This enemy country, they're getting a new intelligence service representative, and I want to bump into him. But this is not a guy who's going to be at a diplomatic cocktail party. How do I get to him? So Gus gave me this idea. I was much younger at the time. I was 35 years old. My hair was darker. I grew a beard, and it was dark. Now I'm all gray. But I put some books in a book bag. I went to his house. I saw his car was on the street, and with my book bag, I broke the side view mirror off of his car. So I picked it up. I went to the next door neighbor just to provide cover for myself. And I said to the woman, is this your car? She said, no, it's the man next door. He doesn't speak Greek. So I went to his house. I knocked on the door and I said, I'm so sorry, sir, but the lady next door told me that this is your car, and I said, I'm so clumsy. He says, wait a minute. I don't speak Greek. I said, oh, you speak English? I speak English, I said. I'm so sorry. I was clumsy and I wasn't paying attention to where I was going, and I broke the mirror off your car, and the lady next door told me that it was your car, and I want to say I'm sorry and I want to pay for it. He's like, oh, you're so clumsy. What's wrong with you? You couldn't see how close you were? I said, I'm so sorry. I was just not paying attention. It's all my fault. I want to pay for it. In the meantime, well, I said to him, I said, your English, you have an accent. Can you tell me where you're from? And he told me from this Middle East country. And I said, I'm from the United States. I said, oh, I wish our countries could be friends again. Maybe someday. And he's just like, oh. And I see his little daughter. She looked to be about 4 years old. She's playing on the floor of the living room. And I said to him, may I have a glass of water? Knowing that culturally he had to give it to me.
Yeah.
And he says, wait right here. So I walked into the house and I said to his daughter, I got down on my knee and I said, Shu ismik? And she tells me her name. And I said, how old are you? And she says she's 4. And he comes in, he's holding the water. And he says, what exactly do you want from me?
He knows that,
Oh, 100%. He's a professional. He's not an idiot. So I said, look, I'm from the CIA in Washington. I know exactly who you are and what you're doing here. You have one chance to be on the side of the good guys. And I took out my business card and I said, this is my real name. The phone rings on my desk at the American Embassy. You have until 10 o'clock tomorrow morning to call me. You can be on the side of the good guys, or you can go down with your leader. And I put it down on the table. And he said to me, I admire your courage in approaching me. Very inventive. He said, but I hate that you did it in my own home. You can leave now. So I said, 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. And I walked out. The next morning, everybody's gathered around my desk.
Waiting for that phone call.
Waiting. Everybody. And then the phone rings.
Does it?
Uh-huh. And he said, what do you want from me? And I said, meet me in the Hilton Hotel coffee shop in 2 hours and don't bring a weapon. So our security people were literally at every table of the Hilton coffee shop. Everybody's armed. I have a bulletproof vest on under my suit. And he comes and I tell him, have a seat. And he said, so how does this play out? And I said, I want access to your code room and I want all your weapons. And he said, do you know how hard that is? And I said, yes. I also know how important you are. And I know that of anybody in the embassy besides the ambassador, you have the access. And he said, what do I get in return? I said, well, number one, you get to live. Number two, I can make you rich beyond your wildest dreams. So what is it? What do you want? And we negotiated a deal, and we made a plan. We took the codes. The weapons were buried in a bunker outside the embassy, underground. We went in the middle of the night, 6 guys with shovels. We took all the weapons. And then he disappeared.
Is there a witness protection program in general?
Yes.
Is that a real?
Yes. The last time I heard about him, it was several years after I left the CIA, and I ran into a former colleague, and I said, "How's Steve?" Steve was what we just called him. We didn't use his Arabic name. We just made up a name. I said, "How's Steve?" He said, "Believe it or not, Steve owns 7 restaurants."
Oh, good for Steve.
And I said, "Really?" He said, "We set him up with 1 restaurant. He just had a knack for it. And now he has 7 restaurants. He's rich." I said, "Good for him." So he made a life for himself. He said, "Yeah, his kids are in college. Everything's good." I said, "Great. That's what it's all about."
So the witness protection thing is a real thing, huh?
Oh, it's a real thing.
And then he just vanishes and no
You
one knows.
get American citizenship.
Hmm.
Your family gets American citizenship. You get the seed money to start whatever it is you want. I mean, you've provided us with a great service. And whatever we negotiated, I'm going to give him 100,000, I'm going to give him 1 million or 5 million or whatever it's going to be. That's what he used to get started in life.
But those people, and that's where the real talk gets in, is those people are informants against their country at the end of the day. They've committed espionage to their country.
Or treason in some
treason,
cases.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So in that sense, how are they viewed in the CIA? They're viewed as people?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Right.
So you would think that they would be held at arm's length because they're traitors.
Yeah.
But there is such an overwhelming sense in the CIA that we are the good guys, that we consider them to be the good guys too.